A lot of times, especially in like ministering in the streets, like a lot of times we'll just say, "How can I pray for you?" And it opens up a long list of trials and kind of a sob story that you know you hear a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's external stuff. And I just I don't know how to word it in a question, but you know, what have your experiences been with that? As far as like, a lot of times I will almost ignore the external stuff that they're talking about and just pray for peace and for their salvation, or you know the more internal things. It's not so much a healing, a physical healing.
Right,
thing.
right. No, I'm following your question.
I guess there's some.
I can tell you what I personally do.
Overlap with physical healing too, because that's an external thing in some
Yeah.
ways. But just how you handle that with...
Personally, I see, without truth, there's no hope for freedom. So when they're thinking wrong, when it's external, Christians even do it. You ask a Christian, hey, how's it been going? They tell you their two biggest challenges and say, keep me in prayer. It's like we identify with our trials, you know. And if you don't know the Lord and you're not a believer, you're overcome by it. It becomes your story. And that's why it's the first thing coming out of their mouth, because it's what's consumed their heart. So what I try to do is interject some thoughts to empower them to believe or see it a little different from God's perspective. You don't always have a lot of liberty to talk long or teach. And you might feel it out. I connect with certain people. My goodness, it's like they tell you a life story and they give you the time to just address it, you know. And then there's other times it's more drive by, pass by, it's shorter. But I usually, when I notice that stuff, it gets me because I realize, man, this is hurting them in the long run. If they continue to think this way, this is going to continue to produce So even if I pray for peace or whatever, I can trust God will change that. I try to seed into it. Like I try to say, listen, I know you're saying this, but listen, man, I remember in my life when, and here's what happened. And this is why I'm even asking what I could pray for, because God changes everything. But the biggest thing he changes is the way I think and see. And then I'll try to use it and spring it and use myself and my own change and seed into them that you could be seeing this a little different. And man, what would this look like if this is what you actually believed? And I'll try to seed into them and sow something into them that Holy Spirit can spring forth and work into fruitfulness in their life. Because once you tell me something, I even said it to many people on the streets. I said, listen, man, you just told me some heavy stuff. I've seen the tears in your eyes and how real this is to you. Now look, you can't put that all on me and then not give me an opportunity to respond. Would you be patient and let me speak into that the best I can? What do you mean? I just need, please, man, you got my heart for you right now. You've been really going through it. Yeah, let me address it. And I just ask for permission to like kind of minister to them in a counsel form. You would be surprised when I'm at an altar in a church, people are always asking for prayer. Can you pray for me? Can you pray for me? Most of the time they don't need prayer. They need a different way of thinking. Rarely do they need prayer. It's not prayer that makes you free. It's truth. Most of the time, the reason we need so much prayer is because we're missing truth. So I'll be like, listen, I can pray for you. I can. It's not, we'll pray at some point here probably, but let me ask you this in light of what you said. And because I'm at the altar and I'm talking to a Christian, I have total liberty. But I try that on the streets, and it usually works really well. And they see that I care about them, and I want to try to speak into their life for their sake. I'm not trying to pass on my theology. I'm trying to help them to perceive something different, to produce different fruit and results. If they're really hurting because of a loved one, I talk to them about how I wonder why. Did you ever notice how easy it is to hurt because of people and how rarely we hurt for them when they're wrong? I wonder why that is. I say, this is what the Lord showed me. And I'll begin to show self-centeredness, taking things personal. People owe us. The people we say, I love you. It's so conditional. And I'll get conviction out there. And try to show them, you know what? There's a higher way to see this. There's another way, and it's probably the way. And that's how so hopefully that helps. And it's more so my motive than prayer when it's those kind of things, when it's issues, when it's external. Healing, that's prayer. I might give them some little insight. But when it's external stuff and they're just sharing the soap opera of life, so to speak, not demeaning them, I'm just saying that's so you know what I mean. They're just sharing all their troubles. I try to speak into that. I try to seed into that and give them another way to think.